All right, welcome. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on something kind of cool, the secret language we use to tell a computer exactly what to do on a web page. It's all about giving perfect instructions. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Think about any website you use. A news site, an online store, whatever. It's just packed with stuff, right? Links, images, buttons everywhere. Now, how in the world do you tell a robot, hey, click this search bar and make sure it doesn't accidentally click the sign in button that's sitting right next to it? That right there is the big challenge of web automation. See, for us humans, it's simple. We get context. We just say, hey, click the search box by the logo. Easy. But a machine? It has no idea what by the logo means. It needs a perfect, crystal clear address. It speaks code. So it needs something like this instruction here, a super specific identifier that points to one and only one spot on the page. But, here's where things get a little tricky. Modern websites are messy. They're complex, they're always changing, and sometimes a simple address like an ID, well, it just isn't enough. It might not be unique, or it might change. The machine might see 2 or 3 things that look the same, so we're going to need a much smarter, more powerful way to give these directions. And that's where CSS selectors come in. They are the perfect solution to this whole problem. It's basically a powerful language that lets us build a unique address for anything on a web page by combining different things about it. Its tag, its ID, its class. It's kind of like giving a machine the full street address, city, and zip code instead of just, the street name. No confusion. And what's really cool is how simple this language can be. It really just boils down to a couple of special characters that are like little cheat codes. You see a hash symbol? Bam, that's looking for a unique ID. You see a dot? That's zeroing in on a class. So these aren't just random symbols. They're like the basic building blocks, the grammar, for telling the machine what to find. Okay, so this is where the real fun begins. We can start mixing and matching these building blocks. We can combine a tag with an ID for super precise targeting. That's perfect when you know an element has a unique ID. Or maybe you use a tag and a class to find a certain kind of thing, like a button. But for those really tricky situations, you can get even more specific. You can add in another attribute or even combine all 3. Think of this whole table as your playbook for crafting the perfect locator every single time.
But that begs the question, right? Why bother with all this? Why do we need to combine them? I mean, when is just a simple tag and class not going to cut it?
Well, it really comes down to one word: uniqueness. Imagine you're on a login page. You've got 2 boxes, right? One for your username, one for your password. Now, they might have the exact same tag and class. So if you just tell the machine, find the input box, it's going to see 2 of them and have no idea which one you want. But if you add another detail, like an attribute for name, well, now you've given it that final clue it needs to tell them apart and grab the exact one you're pointing at. And here's the best part. You don't have to be some coding genius to do this. You don't need any fancy software. You can actually start trying this out right now on literally any website with nothing but the web browser you're already using. Okay, here's how you do it. Just go to any web page, right-click on something, anything, and click Inspect. This little window is going to pop up. Inside that window, just hit Control F or Command F if you're on a Mac. A tiny little search bar will show up. You just paste your CSS selector right in there, hit Enter, and boom, the browser will light up exactly what it found. It's an awesome way to test your address and make sure it's right before you put it in an actual automation script. Now, for the people who do this for a living, it gets even cooler. There are specialized tools out there, like one called Selector Hub, that pretty much automate the process of finding the best selector for you. It'll just look at the page and say, here, use this one. It's the most stable. And like this quote says, it saves a ton of time and effort. So let's bring it all together. The main thing to remember is that this whole system, this language of tags, IDs, classes, and attributes, it's the absolute foundation of good, solid web automation. Getting a handle on this is really the difference between having a script that works perfectly and one that's, constantly breaking and failing. And you might be thinking, okay, but why does this really matter? Well, it's because this isn't just some obscure skill for one type of job. It's critical for so many things. We're talking about software testing, making sure apps don't break. We're talking about web scraping, which is how people gather massive amounts of data from the internet. And it's huge in robotic process automation, or RPA, where software bots are literally doing boring, repetitive computer tasks for big companies. This stuff is everywhere. So there you have it. We've kind of peeled back the layers on how machines actually see and get around a web page. Now that you know the secret language for telling them where to go, it makes you think, right? What's the first boring, everyday task you do on your computer that you'd want to automate away?